And our last agency that we're going to hear from is City of Lakeland. So we've got Chuck Barmby, who is the Business Development and Transportation Manager with the City of Lakeland Community and Economic Development Department, and also Angelo Rao, who is the Manager of the Traffic Operations and Parking Services Division with the City of Lakeland. And with that, I hand things over to the presenters. You should both have control of the presentation.
All right, well, thank you, Kristen, and good morning, everybody. Welcome to Lakeland virtually. September 37 or Florida Avenue is really a main road that runs from Manatee County ultimately up towards Pasco County and runs right through the middle of downtown Lakeland and our Dixieland business district. And it's really an age-old story of a road that once functioned as a major part of our community, but over time was expanded and really began to divide the community, particularly the neighborhoods on both sides of the corridor within the Dixieland Historic District. And the primary challenge with the corridor is that the lanes were extremely narrow, about 8.5 to 9 feet wide. So the roads were so narrow that you couldn't have two passenger vehicles actually run side by side with each other. Large vehicles ended up tending to rub mirrors, and it was one of the highest corridors for losses for our Citrus Connection transit system in the entire county. So we had narrow sidewalks, ADA compliance concerns. Really, ultimately, we had a 5-lane roadway that fit within 44 feet of asphalt. So it was a lot of road in a very limited space. And so for years, we had tried to figure out what does the corridor look like? What could it look like in the future to improve safety and mobility? And so the Department of Transportation came to us with an idea on a process to do just that. As you can see here, we were struggling with trying to redevelop this corridor, encourage more folks to come and come to the businesses that were really pedestrian and neighborhood oriented. But as you can see here, pedestrians in a limited sidewalk area were really in danger of stepping out in front of cars that while the posted speed limit was 30 miles an hour, were generally moving much faster than that. So over time, businesses began to put cones out, put homemade signs out to ask motorists to slow down. And so we really began to see more and more of an indication that business owners, in addition to the neighborhoods, were really demanding that something be done. Going back to roadway departure issues, we always like to say that the buildings don't jump out in front of the cars. We've had a number of instances where vehicles have left the roadway and have struck buildings within the corridor. The photo on the right is actually at a transit stop where the transit stop was pretty much obliterated by a car that left the road in the wrong direction about 4 or 5 years ago. And the bottom left picture is just north of the immediate study area, but a vehicle actually ran into a building in downtown Lakeland while bollards were being installed to protect that building. So there was a lot of irony in terms of the improvements that were being demanded by the business owners and actually what was going on in terms of traffic safety. And so in working with the DOT approached us with a plan to look at the corridor from not only a traffic level, but also from an economic development level and an urban design level. And so they engaged the Central Florida Regional Planning Council to conduct a public outreach effort that also included a design studio from the Treasure Coast Regional Planning Council over in Southeast Florida to engage the public through a week-long series of intensive planning meetings or charrettes, design studios, and working with the individual property owners to come up with different visions of not only what the corridor, the roadway could look like, but also how it could generate additional development opportunities, whether it's additional residential, additional business activity. And so it was really the first time, I think, in the state that such a study was undertaking that looked at the corridor from a complete top to bottom standpoint to see what we can do to make it safer for all involved. And so at the end of about a year-long process, the Lakeland City Commission actually voted to support moving forward with redeveloping or doing something in this corridor. They acknowledged that the corridor was woefully inadequate and something needed to be done, and that if a road diet were pursued, that a 1-year test period be implemented to look at how the reduction from 5 lanes to 3 lanes would affect not only travel times in the corridor, but also traffic on the adjacent streets and the surrounding neighborhoods. We also work with the Citrus Connection, our transit operator, to look at other types of transit options for the area. There was a concern that buses stopping within one lane or one through lane in each direction would create additional congestion issues. And so the Department of Transportation has funded a temporary circulator route where the buses were actually running on parallel streets east and west of Florida Avenue to serve the same traffic demand with much more frequent service. And actually the monthly passenger counts are well above expectations, even with the general reductions nation and statewide in transit activity due to the COVID crisis. So with that, I will turn it over to Angelo, who will talk about the test and some other exciting things happening in our city.
Hey, thanks, Chuck. I appreciate it. I think I'm on. Hopefully you can hear me. Angelo Rao with the City of Lakeland, Manager of Traffic Operations and Parking. I don't have a lot of time, so I'll go as quick as I can. As Chuck said, we're really excited about the partnership with District 1 and the way we're putting together State Road 37, South Florida Avenue together as a team. We really appreciate that. Again, I'll move very, very quickly through these slides. Let's see, that's the vision of tomorrow, and it's kind of there today. And you'll see, Chuck, I guess this is the peach line you were referring to just a moment ago in terms of the way the system is being reorientated from an express route and a collector route in terms of working with Citrus Connection. So they're a great partner as well. We thank them as well. There we go. So this is what it really looks in real life. It may not be the prettiest thing in the world. It's not going to win any major awards, but it certainly changes the character of that curb line, going from this curb line to this curb line. What actually happens in this zone will be up for discussion and debate once the study is complete. This is just to test what happens from a safety and operational perspective during the test period. And by the way, to the best of our knowledge, this is practically the most expensive test that we're aware of that the state has ever conducted, over $1 million on a test project. And we're very proud of the District 1 being bold and brave to put this together for us. Thank you so much. There's kind of what it looked like before. And in real life, this is how it's operating. Again, not going to win any major awards from an aesthetic perspective, but really from a point of view of doing the job, it really does the job really well in the way it really changes that character of that cross section from 5 lanes to 3 lanes and manages not only traffic in a more calmed opportunity, but also reducing those exposures to pedestrians as they cross the street from a 5 to a 3-lane roadway. And Chuck talked about this in terms of alternative routes and roadway safety audits. I think I don't need to go over that again. This very busy slide, the real point of this very busy slide is just to show you, let's see if I can get the left, no, it doesn't want to proceed. Let me see, do it again. There we go. Those 2 red lines, this is the major corridor from Edgewood Drive to Bartow Road, about 2.6 miles. You can see that there's virtually no change in the travel time, almost to the second in terms of that overall corridor. But 90% of traffic travel that corridor. And then if you look at the core of the core, the Dixieland core, you can see that 231, 220, and then 338.3. So the core has increased by about a minute. So the question is of the day, is 1 minute of additional travel time through this development zone okay or not okay compared to the economic development, the safety, the opportunities to the whole city as a whole, and frankly, the district in terms of its management? Time will tell when we get commentaries from folks. So I just wanted to differentiate those 2 corridors. I won't spend any time on this. This is just to thank again the state on helping us with data. Data is so important in telling the story. So I just wanted to spend a moment on that. Next item is Icast program, Intersection Collision Safety Program. I'm going to go very quickly, but the gist of it is basically we just introduced a program working with District 1 and Central Office on a safety program to save lives in terms of predicting red light runners, and then extending the all red and delaying the green at the same time. It's a great partnership. We're very proud of it. Hopefully this will show, this is kind of the thing that, ladies and gentlemen, this happens every single day in every intersection throughout Florida. Look at that, red, 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 and got lucky. You can see the difference that had that pickup truck been, what, half a second faster, or the cross traffic had been a half second slower, or vice versa, or combination thereof, this could have been a complete disaster. We got lucky. These near misses, ladies and gentlemen, happen all day long at every single intersection. It's very sad. And if you notice that bicyclist, he did the right thing. He dismounted and became a pedestrian. Think of the trauma associated with that family had, God forbid, that half a second difference had taken place. He could have been part of the trauma as well. This is not about just property damage only incidents. People's lives are at stake. People's lives are ruined because of a half a second of misjudgment. And we think we can change the path of that safety problem with this Icast program. So I'll just go really quickly through these four test sites that we're doing right now. As you can see, I won't even list them. You can see them right in front of me. I know that we're short on time, but in terms of conclusions, think of this. When we did our first study, 48 every single day at one intersection run the all red light when the green is on. Folks, this is every single day, nonstop at every single intersection. Not necessarily 48, it depends on the intersection, but certainly that gives you a bit of an example. And right now, our preliminary data with the 4 intersections are showing that we are preventing about 50 to 80 near misses right now with the Beyond All Red phase. We're very proud of that. In fact, we're going to have a meeting this afternoon to confirm those numbers. So in terms of South Florida Avenue, again, with the workshops that are taking place, and Chuck mentioned that, I just wanted to reiterate that. Again, moving very quickly, the final one I want to talk about is the Memorial Boulevard, US 92. And you've heard a lot about the hawk treatments, but this is really a compilation of 13 elements in a chain of pearls coming together. We typically find in our business that one thing doesn't quite do it. You need to put things together. I learned that from Mark Doctor at FHWA. He taught us with that. And I know if you've seen some of his presentations with the slices of Swiss cheese. It takes a lot of Swiss cheese to put projects together. I mean, it's kind of an interesting analogy. So here it is real quick, 4 hawk signals or hybrid signals that you've heard of in the past. And there they are kind of in aerial view, if you will. That's an actual snapshot from our TMC. And here's one of our very own. I wanted to make sure that I got one that really, really works. So I have to say that's one of our very own employees riding that bike across, and we caught that shot. So we're very proud of the way our relationship with District 1 has been over the years and will continue to be for many years to come. And I think that's it. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much.